Discovery Channel's Street Outlaws made a big splash when it premiered in 2013 due to its controversial nature as it delved into the underground street racing circuit in the US with a spotlight on Oklahoma City, or OKC. It has since become one of the most watched programs on the network, gaining a huge following in the US and around the globe. Monza from the 405 crew became famous for topping the OKC list of the fastest street racers numerous times with his 1972 Camaro Sinister Split Bumper. The reality television series Street Outlaws has become a source of fascination for car enthusiasts and street racing fans, as it opened the world of what was once wrapped in mystery due to its illegal nature and the danger that came with it. The show continued to generate interest after even 17 seasons, and several spin-off series were produced, such as Street Outlaws No Prep Kings and Street Outlaws Fastest in America. Monza was amazed at how far the show has come. When the group was first approached by a production company to do the show through the website Midwest Street Cars, he thought it was cops who wanted to catch them in the act so that they could arrest them. Despite their misgivings, they put their trust in Justin Big Chief Shearer, who led them and organized the races. During the screen test in 2012, they did what they usually do on race nights, and that was to huddle together for a meeting, as they went over the rules and last-minute instructions before beginning racing. Discovery gave the green light, and the camera crew started filming Monza and the rest of the guys for the first season. It had no commercials when it was aired, and Monza revealed that the whole group had to work hard in promoting the series to make it the #1 show in the network. Street racing is basically an illegal and unsanctioned form of racing, and the show's popularity across America has been a cause for concern in the drag racing community. The National Hot Rod Association sanctioned its members who participated in the show by revoking their competition licenses, which generated a backlash from the public when it became known. At some point, the association has changed its perception of the show, although they continue to be against illegal racing. Perhaps it has something to do with what was reported in some articles, that every racing event was cleared, as the production company applied for the necessary permits in whatever city they were filming. Some said that a more fitting description of the show was that it was based on street racing, but Discovery made sure that they were not breaking any laws. As far as authenticity is concerned, Monza admitted that the road was blocked off, and there were ambulances and fire trucks on standby, but the races were real. Long before there was a camera crew to film them, they were already racing on the street, competing to get into the top 10 list of the fastest cars and drivers in the OKC. They had this rule that the only way one could advance on the list was to challenge the driver who was one step higher in ranking. One had to work his way through the list to get to the top. As a result, each racer continually upgraded their car whenever possible to be the fastest on the street. Sometimes Monza and the other guys would travel to another city in search of the best driver and invite him for a race with not just money at stake, as they were also out to prove that the 405 crew was the fastest in the country. It's said that the positive impact of Street Outlaws has been the interest it generated in auto racing in general, and in making fast street cars fashionable again. It also inspired grassroots participations as people pick up their tools and work on their cars. Jerry Monza Johnson is part Indian. He was 14 when he started motocross racing, and the day he received his driver's license in the mid-1980s, he was into street racing. "I've only known one speed, and that's wide open street racing," he said. In 2006, he did class racing called Mud Street behind the wheel of a Mustang with a Chevy motor in it. He won the championship that first year, and again the following year. Monza worked at auto shops and so acquired the essential skills that helped him in car racing. He got his nickname from Sean Murdenova Ellington, who was drunk one night and couldn't remember his name while they were out on a drive on the 39th Street in OKC. Sean started calling him Monza based on the car that he used to street race when he was younger, and his username Monzilla on the Midwest Street Cars website. The rest of the drivers heard it, and the name stuck. He said he didn't mind whatever these guys wanted to call him, and shared how he found it funny that when they were out somewhere, someone would say, "Hey Mazda, I'm your biggest fan." People who watched the show came to recognize Monza as the 6'4" guy with a beard and braid. He was not making a fashion statement, but had to braid his hair for practical reasons, as it was easier to contain as he put on and took off a helmet when racing. The first car he took to a drag strip was a Monza, and he recalled trading his truck for that big tire roller from his little cousin. He took this as a perfect opportunity to get his then 13-year-old son, Brandon, interested in racing cars, to keep him off drugs and doing other stupid things, and they eventually began constructing cars together. At first, they had help from the HPP racing guys, particularly when it came to tuning the car, but soon realized that it was best they learned the skills and did the work themselves. Monza has nothing but praise for his son, as the latter did a phenomenal job of ensuring that his car was ready come race night. He said that the only reason he could confidently walk away from his car to attend a driver's meeting or to film was that he knew his car was in good hands. Working with his son was not always easy, as they would often butt heads. Brandon can be quite stubborn in what he believed was the best thing to do when it comes to making changes or modifications to the street car, but he wasn't right all the time. Monza said, "It can be tough, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't want anybody else there backing me up, pulling me to the starting line. My life's in his hands." He can be vocal about his love for Brandon and said that the closeness he enjoyed with his son is something he'd never had with his own father. Many were curious to see if Brandon would follow in his father's footsteps in street racing, but Monza said that his son won't go for the list. If Brandon ever races, it would be something that has to do with small tires. During the off-season, Monza is into fishing and hunting, as he grew up doing both in Kansas. His dad would often take him fishing, and he remembered running limb lines for catfishing. He has a boat now, and his favorite is walleye fishing. When it comes to hunting, he said that he's been doing it since long before he was driving, and he's never going to stop. His favorite weapon is a Raven R20 crossbow, as it's like a rifle that could shoot a target at 100 yards. It's pricey, but then he's getting his money's worth. He used to have a $500 crossbow, but said the difference between that and a $2,000 crossbow is like the difference between a Ford Fairmont and a Cadillac Escalade. Monza has a wheat field and a feeder set up. He has a hunting lease, and in the wintertime, one could find him in the woods chasing deer. Monza has earned a reputation for being a man of few words, and was rarely seen or heard voicing his opinion on the show, unless directly asked. He seemed so serious all the time that his fans wondered if that was his real personality, or he is just shy in front of the camera. He opened up in one of his vlogs that when he's on Street Outlaws, particularly during race nights, all his focus was on his car. While others were having fun hanging out, he's stressed out. When he's walking up and down the road, he's thinking, is my tune-up too hot, or is it not hot enough? Monza said that when he was younger, nothing could stress him out, but as he got older, he can't relax. However, once the race is over, he's a completely different person, even saying, "I promise you, once you get to know me, there's never a dull moment around me." The 1970 to 1973 Camaro Rally Sport has always been his dream car, but he couldn't afford to buy it when he was younger. Years later, he got one from Joe Dominator Woods, actually a bare hull, but he turned it into a race car, the now legendary Sinister Split Bumper. As he competed against faster cars, his team switched from running nitrous to twin turbos, so he had to learn to master the technology involved. They made sure that the car had the best of the best in it. Although its motor could be tuned to 4,000 horsepower, they only tuned it to half of that, as there's only so much power they could use in the street. In Season 1, Monza was on the list at number 4, and he called out Daddy Dave Comstock for his spot at number 3, but failed to get it. Dave is his buddy, but said, "I'd probably get a bigger kick out of beating Dave out of anybody, as it felt like he had accomplished something." He liked the challenge of racing against Dave, as the latter was a good gauge of how fast one was on the street. So what happened to Monza? In 2018, he was racing against Chuck Seitzinger, who was behind the wheel of a 1989 Ford Fox body Mustang called Death Trap, when he lost control of his car after crossing the finish line at over 270 km per hour, 170 miles per hour. It jumped sideways, hit the curb, and barrel rolled several times. The 405 crew rushed to him. Fortunately, it was only the car that was wrecked, as he suffered no injury and didn't sustain a single scratch. Investigating in the right safety gear might cost a lot of money, but it saved his life. After he got out of his car, he immediately looked for his son, wanting to assure him that he was okay. His team didn't change anything on the car, but only fixed everything back exactly like it was before the crash. In 2021, 64 drivers from all over the country gathered to compete at the Mega Cash Days event, held in Scottsbluff, Nebraska, with more than $300,000 prize money at stake. Only Ryan Martin advanced to the winner's round, as Big Chief, Chuck, Dominator, Doc, and Jeff Lutz were all eliminated. The 4 of 5 drivers were all hoping that Monza would break the losing streak. He had all the available data from his teammates who raced before him, but said that since every car was different, it wasn't going to help him as he faced off with a driver from Texas. He discussed strategy with his team and won that round. However, the final winner of the Mega Cash Days was not from OKC. Monza joined YouTube in January 2021, launching his own channel called Monza 405 Motorsports. It features behind-the-scenes footage, particularly when he and his team were working on cars. As he said, "I want them to know how much time and effort we put into making these cars run." He also planned to show not just his shop, but also his house and 5-acre ranch. He shared a side of himself that his fans were not aware of, so after only a year of vlogging, his videos had gained almost 2 million views. being part of the cast of a successful and long-running reality TV show such as Street Outlaws and its spin-off series must mean that Jerry Monza Johnston was raking in serious dough, although he's not the biggest earner in the show. According to authoritative sources, he has an estimated net worth of over $500,000 as of early 2022. How much he was paid per episode hasn't been disclosed, but when he was talking about paying for repairs of his car, he said that it cost him $50,000. That's a whole bunch of episodes worth of money right there. I am definitely not getting rich off the show, he said. In the new season of Street Outlaws, Monza and the rest of the 4 of 5 crew drivers were surprised at the news that OKC was getting rid of the list, as it had since lost its meaning with guys not wanting to race or with their poor performance against street racers from other cities. Subsequently, Big Chief set new rules with the goal of reclaiming the title as the fastest in the country. What is certain is the continuation of this most popular reality TV series for the foreseeable future.
Thank you for spending some time with us. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpick these videos which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question in the comments below. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you back tomorrow.